What is up, card fighters? So I'm back here. This is actually round one of the second week I took UNICA. This is post changes with the deck. I was really happy with the changes I made after this tournament. The deck felt very cohesive, to be honest with you, and it did what I wanted it to do, and it is most definitely by no means, no shape or means like the best deck in the format, but it has like some really cool combos that you can do with triggers, and like just soul blasting triggers of Gungan Ram and then putting them back with various units that put triggers back from the drops into soul, and like soul charging them again and drawing cards again with Gungan Ram. It has like really cool draw combos of Gungan Ram. But getting into round one here, we are fighting against heroes here. So we are going first. We pitch a Makani here to ride up into Sparta. I was thinking about not even running the Unica ride line and running the Bruce ride line just for the draw, because I'm not really a big fan of Sparta. I'm a big fan of Dinah. I was thinking about just running 4 copies of Dinah in the main deck, because like Dinah's just like your bread and butter. Like, and he gets the over trigger here offensively, but that's cool. But Dinah's your bread and butter of this whole deck. She's the only card that counterblasts, but you want to use your counterblast just for Dinah, because like Dinah's ability is an act skill, you could theoretically just use her every turn. Soul Charge 2 heals here with Gungan Ram, which is unfortunate, but we do Soul Blast 3 here to draw. Call Kite's Peak here to Soul, put those 2 triggers back into Soul, and we're gonna swing for 10 here. It's gonna guard. We're gonna swing for 18, he takes it. He's going to pitch another crit here to ride up, and then he's going to activate his base. So he's going to look at top 7, search for 3 base heroes, or up to 3 base heroes, add 1 to hand, and then scout the other 2 to his base. But yeah, I was really happy with like how cohesive the deck felt. It is still piece reliant, definitely very piece reliant still, but it is definitely a fun deck to pilot. It's going to go ahead and swing here. We opt to guard, which you kind of do want to guard early with Unica just to get those triggers into the drop zone. Which you could see how I'm separating my triggers in the drop zone. So we're going to ride up to 3 here. Call out Dinah. Call out Sparta. It's actually like one of like the better parts of the deck. Just being able to produce 2 rear guards from your soul just for just carding 1 to ride. Definitely felt really good. Unfortunately, we only have 2 crits in soul, so we're not going to be able to get the triple drive here, but we are going to be able to get the retire and the crit, and the 5k to 3 units, which I believe I just give the 5k to the front row. Oh no, I don't even give the 5k to Vanguard. I believe I was trying to get him to guard this attack. So I give the power to Kite's Peak here. So we're going to swing for 25 here. It's going to guard with a front, and then we're going to swing here for 38, which he just takes it. Pitches a heal trigger here to ride up. He is going to call Robust here, which is going to let him get a copy of that set order from his deck. And then he's going to activate the base again. Just going to let him search top 7 again for 3 heroes. I shuffle his deck here because I get like a little bit triggered. Not like triggered, but I feel like I have to shuffle my opponent's deck when they do a certain shuffle, to where they take the top part of their deck and put it on the bottom, and then they take the top part of their deck again and put it on the bottom. So they're not really shuffling their deck. They're just moving the same pile of cards from the top to the bottom, from the top to the bottom. So when I see my opponent do that, I know they didn't get a good shuffle. So like I'm just like, I autopilot just shuffle their deck. It's gonna retire my Dinah here. So he's gonna swing for 23 here. We opt to take it. And he's going to swing for 13 here, which we opt to pass his Vanguard. He gives all effects to rearguard. Well, his standing grade 2 rearguard. And he's going to swing again. I believe this is 20. Yeah, he didn't give any trigger powers to her, so that's just 20. Which, that is an intercept from Kite's Peak, my friend. But I guess we didn't want to get rid of the Kite's Peak. And then we just take the critical here. Put 2 triggers into Soul with Dinah here. Looks like we Persona Road as well. Call it on Makani here, Soul Charging 1. Pushing Makani into Soul with his ability. Calling out Bicorn. I'm going to swing here. Soul Blasting 3. Binding the critical. Thinking about what to retire. I decided to retire the Robust because I wanted to force him to intercept, or I wanted to be able to attack his interceptors. So we're just going to give 5k to the front row here. So this is going to be 36 of a crit triple drive, which he opts to perfect guard this attack. Triple drive, we get a critical here, so we give all effects to the Kite's Peak. So I decide to swing at his rear guard here. This is... Oh, because it has +5. So that's going to be 35. Okay. Attack with the Vanguard here. He perfect guarded again. So he's going to Persona Ride here, and then he's going to call another Robust to be able to get his base from deck. And then he's going to activate the base once more, checking top 3. Or not top 3, checking 4-3. Put the Great 2 into hand. Other 2 go to base. It's going to swing for 33 here with the Robust, which we guarded for 15 and intercepted the Kite's Peak, which is a 10k shield. Then he's going to swing with the Vanguard here, activating the Vanguard's ability. I take it. Oh no, he didn't activate the Vanguard's ability, so it was just 1 damage and I took it. Swinging again here. We guard with four 5k shields. Because I believe that was 33. Yeah, that was 30. That was 30 exactly. We guard 4 5k shields and a perfect guard, but we unfortunately ran out of gas here. Yeah, we could. So in this situation, I could put whatever's in my hand in front of the Bicorn, swing with the Bicorn first to get that last card in Soul. But I believe what I drew was a perfect guard for turn, so I was trying to keep the perfect guard here. So we just swing for like a 21. Which he 2-passes it, but we did not break the 2-pass, so that's the end of our turn, and basically the end of this match. He can blow on us, and we're dead. Swings just for 13 here. Again, we're going to try and block with a 5k here, which I believe I had to take 1 attack regardless, but he does get the critical here, and that is the end of game 1. In other news, I've been working on, well, I am working on producing Battle Spirits content because I really do enjoy the Battle Spirits card game, and it is marketed as a competitive card game. I am not leaving Vanguard. I would just like to try to create Battle Spirits content that's like more geared towards getting people into the game, because I don't feel like there's any content out there right now that is geared towards like, hey, you want to get into the game? These are like some steps that you can take that'll help you get into the game, and you'll have a better footholding than, you just blindly get in and you really don't know what you're doing. Uh, the rules on how to play the game are very simple, and there's a very informative video on the Battle Spirits official YouTube page that shows you how to play the game. But the rules of the game are very simple, or the basic understanding rules of the game are very simple. But it's a very cool strategy game, and I just wanna be more geared towards people like me, because it was very hard for me to understand like certain rulings in the beginning, or like understand the correct path on what I needed to do to get into this game, or even how to deck build, because there was no videos on, hey, this is helpful information to deck build, or like, hey, these are like the deck building ratios you want to deck build with. So that's more of like the content that I am more or less geared towards here. We're gonna put the OT back into our soul with the bicorn. We chose the crit instead. Get a UNICA here, which is really nice. So we were able to push him to 2 damage. Activating the base here. Which I think at this point, I really wasn't paying attention to the way he was shuffling his deck. I think I was just autopilot shuffling his deck. Go and retire one of our Gungan Rams here. And then he's going to choose to attack our other Gungan Ram, which is fine here. We were able to get 1 draw off, which is more than enough, I guess. Which we just decided to take the 2 rearguard swings. We produced 2 new rearguards, so like him retiring a rearguard and him killing a rearguard wasn't that hurtful to us. Which I believe we can only make 1 rearguard column, but that's perfectly fine in this scenario since we were able to ride up first. Soul Blasting 3 here. Unfortunately, we don't have the 3 crits, but we are able to get a pop, and we are able to, and I'm going to give 10k to my Vanguard. We're able to pop, and we're able to get a crit to our Vanguard here. Takes to our Vanguard swing, and we're going to give power to the Dyna. So now Dyna's going to be swinging for 1838, which he takes it. He goes to 5 here. Rides up. Does the top 7 search. Adds a grade 2 hero to hand. Gonna call Robust, get out another order. Can't play this one because he already played one for turn, but this is gonna be great for him on his next turn. Discards the 2 here. Now the 2 lets like CB1 and calls itself from the drop zone, and then he scouts a card from the drop zone, a hero card from the drop zone. I'm going to swing 23 here with the Robust. We opt to take that attack. He's going to swing for 13 with the Vanguard, which we 2 to pass it, or attempt to 2 to pass it. Gets a crit here, gives all effects to the rearguard in the back row. Let's go 20 at our rearguard Dyna. We let that attack happen. She served her purpose as a free rearguard. We Persona right here. Move up Sparta, which we did a very naughty play. We called over a critical trigger to be able to get a critical trigger into our drop zone with the Kite's Peak. Did a very naughty play here. And we're going to bind that with a Sparta skill. So I really don't use Sparta skill that often, but it does come up in certain scenarios, just like this one. I can bind a trigger from my soul to give her 10k once per turn if my opponent's Vanguard grade 3 or greater. We choose to call the other Unica from our hand to rearguard here. And then we're going to Soul Blast 3, Soul Blasting 2 triggers. Retire the front row hero, and I'm going to give 10k to the bird here. This is 21-31 with a crit triple drive, which he guards for 2 to pass here. We get nothing, 3 grade 2s. So I'm going to swing for 35 here. And he asks what my rearguard column is, which is 21-31-41, which I believe he told me that he was, even with the base, he was 5k short. Which I was actually very surprised I killed him there, just because his hand seemed plenty, like, It was like not like too big, but it was like sizable. But you do see how he had a couple non-shield cards in his hand. But going on to game 3 now. But yeah, I've been very interested Battle Spirits lately. I've actually gone to 2 tournaments, which I was able to get first place at the last one. Uh, I went X1. It was only 3 rounds, and there was no undefeated, so that's how I got first place. But hey, I got that winners promo, which is really cool. And the game is really cheap to get into, guys. Like, I'm gonna say this now because I know there's been a couple different Battle Spirits YouTubers that have been like proclaiming like now's the time to buy boxes. Now is not the time to buy boxes. Maybe when set 2 comes out and then set 1 cards become more expensive, sure, you could feasibly buy a box of set 1 and profit, but right now, like, it's so cheap to build a deck, even like to build the best deck, it is very cheap. I don't think it like it barely breaks $100, or it's like a little bit over $100 to build like really good tiered decks right now. So I would say singles are the way to go. The only thing I would recommend is to buy 2 of every trial deck. So there's 4 different trial decks right now. There's a white one, a red one, a purple one, and a yellow one. I would get 2 of each so you have a playset of all those cards, because there is no deck building restriction in this game besides you must have 50 cards in your main deck, 10 cards side deck, and you can only play 4 copies of every card. Besides that, you could play any color combination you want. There's no, oh, you need this color to be able to play this, or you need that color to play that. Like, that is another thing that I really like about the Battle Spirits game right now, is that the deck building in this game is just, it can get really creative, because there's no, like, buffer of, like, you have to play only yellow cards, you have to play only white cards. We're gonna discard a Dyna here to ride. Sorry if I got off on a tangent, guys, but I'm just really I'm really passionate about the game right now. Which is not to say I'm not passionate about Vanguard, but I'm really more or less waiting for set 11 to come out to play the glitter decks. I'm really interested in the new glitter support, especially Chaos and Roroa, and yes, even Thagrea. If I can like if I could borrow 2 copies of the promo from a friend, which he will let me borrow it. He's only gonna play 2 himself. But I'm really interested in playing the glitter decks, and I'm kind of like low-key tied, even though like I had really a lot of fun playing around with Youthberg, and I kind of want to play around with Welstra now that I've played against it. Like, I have like different ideas that I really want to do with that deck, because you can kind of do anything you want with the Welstra deck, which I really enjoy. Because its engine is like so lean and compact. Chooses to swing at the rear guard here, and then swings at our Vanguard. I believe we just opt to take it. Or maybe we guard. No, I think we guard here. Yeah, we guard. Gets a crit, gives out a rear guard. And we take 2 damage. Damage a UNICA here. But yeah, those are really the only things that I'm interested about right now in at least playing around with. In Standard, I did try to, not on camera of course, but I did try to make Griffo work. And the deck is really just not playable right now in any competitive sense. So we're just going to go ahead and swing here with the buy, boosting the Bicorn, put the trigger from Drop Zone into Soul. Swing out a rear guard. So we choose to keep him at a 0 open counterblast here and swing at his other rear guard, which he guards with 15. Which was kind of risky because we were already at 2 damage, so he could kind of just go for a damage push here. But not only was he low on resources, he did not have access to another base. So he swings at us for 13. We choose to guard it again for 2 to pass, which he gets another crit, gives it to rear guard. So this is 25, which we just perfect guard here because I don't want to go to 4 right here. Pitch a Kite's Peak here, which is a little bit unfortunate, but we are able to, you see, fill up our field. Discard 1, get 2 cards. Very nice. So we're going to Soul Blast 3 for Gungan Ram to draw a card, and then we're going to activate Dyna, put 2 cards from our drop zone into Soul, which we do have the 3 crits here online on our first grade 3 turn, which is very nice. So we're going to Soul Blast all 3 here. We're going to retire his rear guard, so our Vanguard's going to get +1 crit, +1 drive. Which I believe I just chose to give 5k to the front row. So that's 3 damage here. and he damages 2 of the grade 2 hero and 1 of the base. He guards with a 30k shield, and then he takes the last one, which is a heal trigger. Persona rides here. But, besides guard, his hand really isn't looking all that sexy right now. He doesn't have any offensive pressure. But he's going to activate base here, discarding a 15, grabbing a rear guard, that's a 28k attacker, so... Chooses to keep the shield heroes in hand. Yeah, chooses to keep the shield heroes in hand. He's going to swing for 38 here. We opt to take it because it doesn't have a crit. And we were at 2. Guard the rear guard because there's only 23. And he's going to swing for 28 at my Vanguard. Which we're contemplating taking it. Yeah. Because I didn't want to intercept with the Kite's Peak, because Kite's Peak is the 10k shield, so that would have been overguarding. We're going to activate Dyna here right away. Soul Charge 2 cards from our drop. 2 triggers from our drop. And we're just going to swing. What I don't like about the UNICA deck is that even if you do have 3 crits in your bind zone, every time you Soul Blast a crit for her ability, you have to still bind the crit. Which we do heal here, so we go back to 3, which is very nice for us. So this is going to be 28, 33, 43. Or maybe that was 38. No, I think that was 38, not 43. Yeah, it was 38. Retires my bird, which sucks, but it is what it is. So he basically forfeits his whole hand to basically like a last bastion here and try to go for game. Gonna swing for 28 here. 1 damage, but we're not taking any chances, so I perfect guard his Vanguard. Swing for 15 here. I overguard because I wanted to stay at low damage. And then I overguard a little bit again because I want to stay at low damage. So we're going to Soul Charge 2 of Dino, which gets us our 3 cards in Soul. Bind the crit again, unfortunately. He perfect guards. Heal, no heal. Front. And a Kite's Peak. Swinging here. And he only had 1 card left, which it was very unfortunate that his engine just kind of like died on him in this last match. And then my engine just like basically like went full throttle. Well, not necessarily like it went full throttle, but I was able to take advantage of the fact that like he had like a very slow start that never necessarily picked up. So I just took my time, picked apart his board, and just basically like played for like the controlly long game, since I could basically like just pick apart his rear guards every turn. But yeah, guys, that was another excellent UNICA match for One Deck 1 Week. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, and yeah, again, I will be posting Battle Spirits content in the future, so look forward to that.